Hello all, I hope you're doing well today. I wanted to make a brief little video here on audio quality. And I wish I could tell you guys that I'm making this video because someone approached me and told me just how good my audio quality is. It's nothing like that, and I know that the videos I make don't have audio that's as good as professional podcasts or anything like that. But I think the kind of videos that I make are actually served pretty well by the types of audio files that I insert into them. And for anyone else who's trying to get into video production, you might think, like I used to think before I got into audio and sound production, that you might need to buy an expensive microphone or really expensive software to get audio quality that is presentable for the types of videos you want to make. I was pleased to find out, actually, when I started doing this, that getting that good audio quality where it's clear and it's crisp, and you might have a little bit of echo in the background, but it's perfectly serviceable. I was pleased to find out that it's basically free to get that kind of audio. So if that's you, I hope I can help you a little bit by some of this advice here. I'm not trying to tell anyone how to run their channel. People have done this kind of stuff all different ways. But this is just some stuff that's been helpful for me, so I wanted to talk about it today. So, long story short, I'll start with some brief details and then I'll get into sort of the longer part of it. Long story short, to get my audio, all I'm really using is just an iPhone and some free software. Your iPhone actually has a really good microphone on it, better than you might think, with the right software. So when I make videos, I make them just in my room. I don't have it set up for any specific audio presentation or anything. I'm just, right now, I've got the air conditioner running and everything, and I've got I'm standing in front of my closet here, and I've got the mattress off to the side because I'm working on some stuff. But my point is, the room is not really professionally set up, but I think the audio still sounds pretty nice, and I think it's down to the way that I'm holding the microphone and the way I'm standing in the room. So, like I said, I'm facing the wall, but I also have the microphone, or I have the phone in my hand upside down, so the microphone is facing my mouth, and I have the microphone about a foot or two away from my mouth below it. And what that does is it ensures that your P's and your B's are not going to pop the mic when you're talking right into it, but you're also not going to be standing away from the mic like this where your voice is going to be super echoey. See, the reason why the room sounds so much more echoey right now is because I'm not really facing the microphone directly, and you're hearing the signal that the rest of the room is picking up and not hearing the signal right from me. Versus if I stand like this and I just try to keep myself as still as I can and talk to this one spot, you're going to get some pretty consistent, good sounding audio, I think. So that's the first thing I do. The second thing is I try to use some good software to make sure that it's picking up the best possible audio quality that it can. So there's something called Redbook Audio Standard, which is basically the code that you need, like the bit rate and the bit depth and everything, to pick up all of the frequencies that the human ear can hear. It's going to be usually your WAV files or your AIFF files. If you go to your audio format thing on your free audio recorder that you find, and there are lots of them, right? I don't want to plug a specific one here. But if you go into your audio formats, it's usually WAV or AIFF. And it's going to be 44 kilohertz, 16-bit audio, around 1400 kilobits per second. And that's going to achieve that goal. On my particular app, I think it's actually at 32-bit bit depth, which is a little bit overkill, but I think to get that Redbook standard in WAV, I have to switch it up to that quality. But the reason I do that is just because I know YouTube, by the time it compresses everything, it's not going to get everything exactly sounding like it was when you recorded it. But at least I know that I'm doing everything I can on my end to make sure that audio is as good as it can be when I put it into my video software and then when I export it to YouTube. And YouTube audio still sounds pretty good, but I know that all of the compression and stuff is not going to be happening on my end. The other thing about your audio recorder app is try to make sure, and it's a little bit harder to figure this out, you might have to look up some stuff online, but I try to make sure it doesn't do anything like data saving bit compression or something. Like if I talk a little bit more softly, it might start compressing my voice and making it sound a little bit fuzzier. And you want to make sure that you're also not doing anything like excessive dynamic range compression, basically making the loud bits quieter and making the quiet bits louder. You can do that stuff in your audio software if you want, when it comes to, or in your video software if you want. But I don't like it to do that because it kind of tends to mess with the integrity of the audio sometimes and can make it sound unpleasant, and I think can make it sound actually less professional when you're doing that. So as long as you just have a high quality audio recorder format in there and it doesn't have any fancy bells or whistles, it's just doing what it needs to do to transmit your voice into that clear audio signal, you're going to be fine. Say you don't want to use 1400 kilobits per second. You can also use what's called AAC. It's another audio format. It's called Advanced Audio Codec. That's what Apple uses for things like the iTunes Store. And if you've listened to music on the iTunes Store, you'll know how good the quality of it is, and that's because unlike MP3, AAC was developed mainly to be like a better audio codec that is going to mask some of those data-saving corners that are being cut as far as like how much space the file is taking up. If you put your AAC file at 256 kilobits per second, that's usually going to be pretty good. That's iTunes Store quality, but again, when I record, I like to just make sure that everything I put into the microphone is being kept in the file, so that way when I put it into the software, it sounds as good as it can. So that's how I record my audio on there, and I think when I do that, it sounds really nice. So there's one more thing I want to talk about here, and that's like, say you want to record something and you don't want to have echo like I have right now in this room. I've used this technique when I've made other videos. I think I used this when I did my Why I'm Glad Mario Beat Frozen video. If you want to do a video especially where you drop in audio, where you drop in music, I think it's much less distracting when you have no echo, if you're going to have a music track in the background. So if you got music track and your voice is echoing in the background, I think it's actually kind of distracting. So what I do for that scenario is, as silly as it sounds, I just walk into a closet and close the door, and sometimes I actually talk right at a coat, so that way the coat is catching all of the potential echo, and you'll have much more of that nice podcast sounding audio. Now I can't exactly replicate that here, but I guess I can step over. I do have this mattress right here, like I said, so what I'm doing is I'm gonna turn the microphone a little bit to the side so I'm not talking into it, and I'm gonna talk directly at the mattress. And I'm gonna get a little bit closer here so I can speak like this, and I think if you do this, you're gonna have much closer to that professional sounding podcast audio. Now I know that you can still hear the echo a little bit in the background when I do that. That's because I haven't changed rooms. Like, I'm not gonna walk into a closet and close the door in the middle of recording. That's gonna cause a lot of background noise. So I wanted to make a quick little note here. I had basically intended this video to be a demonstration of the fact that you can get pretty good audio quality out of a room that has not been optimized for best quality, and a room which might have a little bit of background noise. But I realized in the course of that I hadn't actually demonstrated something I directly mentioned in the video, which is that more podcast sounding audio if you would like it. So this is me basically demonstrating that right now. Hello. Thank you very much. That is something you can do to make that sound a little bit even more presentable there. There's one little detail here as far as software. You can do this with free software as well. It's a little bit more advanced, and I don't usually do it unless I'm recording audio that I really want to sound nice for a specific purpose. But it's called EQ. You might be familiar with EQ. It's where you can basically adjust the treble and the mids and the bass in your voice. Let's say you do that podcast technique in a closet, and it turns out your voice is a little bit too bassy. Well, you can go into some EQ software and reduce the bass and re-export the file. Make sure you export the file to be basically at least as good a quality as it was when you put it in. But if you do that, that can actually help make your voice sound even better. Let's say you have a microphone on your phone that favors the mid-range a little bit, and you want to make it sound a little bit more balanced. You can take that mid-range down a little bit, and it might make your voice sound a little bit better. So all of that is free stuff you can do with your smartphone, and I just think it makes all the difference in the world. And again, I'm not trying to tell anyone how to run their channel. Everyone has different ways of doing things, but these are just things that have helped me out a lot when I've recorded audio over the years. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please let me know. But until next time, I will talk to you guys next time, and thank you for listening. Bye-bye.